Being that it's Monday, May 18th, 2015, we'll call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order at 7 p.m. If you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda is the minutes, regular meeting minutes for April 27, 2015.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Selectman Jolden?
Yes.
Selectman Ward?
Yes. Next item is Monday, April 27, 2015, executive session.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Becker?
Recuse?
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Selectman Jolden?
Yes.
Selectman Ward?
Yes. Next item is regular session, Thursday, May 7th, 2015.
Motion to approve minutes.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Abstain.
Selectman Jolden?
Yes.
Selectman Ward?
Yes. And the last one is Monday, May 11th of 2015, the meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve. Any other discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Abstain.
Selectman Jolden?
Yes.
Selectman Ward?
Yes. Courtney, I lost that sheet. Yeah, I know. I'm
Jim?
looking for that. Oh, here it is. Too many papers. Next item on the agenda is reorganization of the Board of Selectmen. At this point, we'll open to the floor the nominations for chairman. If there are any nominations,
I'll nominate Don Bork. Second.
are there any other nominations from the floor? I close the floor to nominations. Vote on the nomination named during open floor, so we'll vote on that now.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Selectman Jolden?
Yes.
Selectman Ward?
Yes. Open the floor for nominations for vice chairman. Are there any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Mark Dugevich.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to nominate for vice chairman Selectman Mark Dalgevich. Are there any other nominations? And I close the floor to nominations. Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Selectman Jolden?
Yes.
Chairman Ward?
Yes. Open the floor for nominations for secretary. Are there any nominations?
Selectman Jolda.
Second. Are there any other nominations? And I'll close the nominations for secretary. Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Selectman Jolden?
Yes.
Chairman Ward?
Yes. I close nominations for reorganization. Thank you. At this point, at 7:05, we'll continue the continuance of the May 7th, 2015 nuisance dog hearing. Michelle, you want to come forward?
You're supposed to sit facing this way.
Oh, we didn't even
Wow,
recognize.
I didn't even notice that.
Sorry about that.
I need that paperwork.
He's not here.
And he was served, right? He has been, was he served?
As far as I know, he was.
Yes, Courtney, he was served,
Yes,
correct,
he
by
was served.
constable.
Yep, very soon.
So at this point, what's the pleasure of the board?
Through the chair, since we last met, have there been any incidents recorded?
No.
So I read the report, naturally, I wasn't at last meeting, so all the neighbors are complaining that the dog is loose, and has he bit anyone?
Not yet, no.
Hasn't yet, but you feel he probably will?
I think it's a female this time. Like I said, he had a prior dog that passed away.
So what, is a female more prone to nip?
Could be. If she's not fixed, she could be, yeah.
So I think his disregard to show up to two consecutive hearings, would you advise that we seize the dog?
Can we legally do that? I mean, I don't know what the legalities are regarding that.
I guess we could do it, and he could take us to court, right? He'd finally show up for a hearing.
Well, he's gonna go, he has another hearing coming up for failure to pay his third violation. And he already got found responsible for the prior two. So, he's defiant.
Do you know what the penalty was for those violations?
Well, he was ordered by the court to pay them.
But
was
we
found
don't know if
responsible.
they were ever paid.
I don't know if they were paid.
What's his problem? You know, any idea?
He's defiant. He just has no regard for rules or regulations in regards to animal control or,
You've
Other
been fining
issues.
him?
I'm sorry?
You've been fining him?
Yes.
So just keep fining him. Keep fining him every day. Go down there and fine him. At some point, he's gonna comply, I would think.
Is there an increase in the schedules of the fines? So like if they, I mean, maybe not if they're past due, but you know, like first offense is X, second offense is twice as much. There isn't a schedule such as that?
Our bylaw just doesn't
It's in the
increase it.
bylaw. Okay.
So it doesn't say that we can fine him every day for when he doesn't pay his fine or
No.
comply to a,
Well, you can fine him for each instance, probably, right?
Right.
Right.
But if there hasn't been anything since our last meeting, then we
There
can't fine
hasn't
him
been.
anything else.
Mm.
So the only time we'll understand what's going on is if some neighbor complains that the dog is loose, at which time we could then have you try to go,
And
Capture
fine
the
him,
dog.
correct. Try to
And-
capture the dog first and then
Was he
Fine him.
served
served.
to come here?
yes.
Yes.
And it was delivered.
So that's a violation right there.
And
So I'd refer it to the police department.
Yeah, legally, officer, you may not know off the top of your head, but what legally, if someone's served, what can we do on our behalf? Right.
Did we establish that the dog was finally registered, they finally got a license from the clerk, or is it still unlicensed?
Unlicensed as far as I know,
Still
but it
unlicensed.
is up to date on rabies.
I mean, I think the unlicensed thing is, you know, it's still,
I could certainly send him out another citation for that. I can keep signing, I believe I can keep finding him every single day for every day he doesn't
yeah,
license
I
the
think
dog.
that's the way we should do it then, because the fact is, you know, he hasn't registered the dog with the town.
Yep.
And at least it gives us some legal standing to keep knocking on his door that, you know, we want to talk with this gentleman.
I don't knock on his door, I just send him in the mail, because he's just, you,
No, but
Not
that's what I mean,
yeah.
figure of speech, yeah.
But he's not going to probably sign for that letter. Has he signed for any certified letters to date?
We have not, he has not signed the certified return receipt. The first hearing, we sent a certified return receipt letter to him. We did not get that back yet.
Okay.
We did send out Barry Sims, and he did, constable that letter to him, and he did not show up again today.
So is the only recourse having the constable deliver fines and/or more letters?
I'd have the police department do it now at this point.
my thought is if she's sending them official citations, that's still a legal citation that eventually, just like a parking ticket, it's not gonna go away.
Right.
So it's just gonna keep accruing and building up where, I mean, if he gets stopped on a traffic stop or something, he's gonna have to remediate that, I would think.
Does that show if, for instance, if you don't pay your taxes, you can't sell your house? So if he doesn't pay for his fines that were received for the dog, that doesn't appear anywhere, does it?
If his dog is unlicensed
Mhm.
and it's roaming around outside of the licensing period, we pick up the dog. We can pick up the dog for running at large. We can hold the dog for not being licensed at the shelter until he gets a valid license for the dog.
Right.
Well, that's what I just mentioned, and you said you didn't really want to do that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. I thought you meant go to his house, knock on his door, and physically take his dog.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No, we can't do that. He won't allow us to do that. We'd have to catch the dog loose. Yeah.
Well, I guess, let me try to reword this. If I sell my house
Mhm.
and I haven't paid my taxes for a year, I have to come and pay my taxes until the house can sell
Mhm.
through the treasurer's office downstairs. If we find this gentleman every single day because of him not having a licensed dog, what jurisdiction does that fall on or fall under at that point? If he doesn't pay, let's say you're finding him every single day for the next 6 weeks,
That becomes a court matter. That goes through the magistrate first for a hearing, and then if he fails to show there, it becomes a court matter, and he'll be summoned to court.
But if, in the long run, if he doesn't pay that fine, we could probably do a municipal lien on his property for not paying.
I
Right.
tend to think that if it's gonna go through the magistrate, that maybe that would be involved somehow with his license and a driving
Mhm.
record, because it's a civil violation. But I'm no law expert, I mean, maybe we should just ask the town council on this for a real quick overview.
Mr. Chairman, if
believe
I
it's-
may, this type of violation goes through our bylaws, and it's considered a 21D non-criminal disposition, and that is the recourse, is that if after 30 days it remains unpaid, it goes up to our district court, and the magistrate handles it, and then it goes that way.
so I think our best recourse is to go that way and do what you recommended, is fine him every day.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman, if I could,
Yep.
I would suggest also asking the clerk magistrate for their advice, knowing the full situation, ask them what we should do, because there is a concern that this dog is gonna injure someone, so.
Yep. And I believe his driver's license is suspended at this point. I'm not sure. I know it was in the past, but I'm not sure if it still is.
So I think it's, maybe we'll entertain a motion to move forward that way.
Sure, so I'll make a motion to authorize Michelle to fine this gentleman every day for his unlicensed dog until it's remediated.
If I may just amend that motion to also ask Michelle to contact the clerk magistrate to see what could be done through the courts.
By all means.
Yep.
Okay.
A second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, poll the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Ford?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
I'll also entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded to close the public hearing. Any other discussion? Courtney, poll the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Ford?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman
Oh.
Ford?
No, that's, just if the board would indulge me for a moment, I want to take out of order here, under other business unknown at time of posting, during Kraus from the Water Department, he was nice enough to come in at my request in regards to some issues that have been in social media in regards to the water. So I asked him to come in, and he graciously accepted to come in and give an explanation of when that report is from and what have you, if you wanted to come on.
Good evening. The report that has been noted on the town's website was the bacteria violation notice from May 6th of 2014. We were unaware of precisely how long the notice had to be posted on the website, and then it kind of got lost in the shuffle and stayed up there longer than it should have. And it is now down from the website. It is no longer available. but it is an old, outdated notice. And there are no outstanding violations to our drinking water at this time.
Have we had any call-ins as of late in regards to rusty water, smelly water, any issues with the water?
We are constantly battling rusty water, dirty water calls, and it's our policy to dispatch a crew within 1 hour, day or night. During normal hours, normal weekday hours, we ask our customers to call the water department office, and during the off hours, please call the police department. They will contact me, and then I will dispatch a staff member out.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Is there a particular area in town that continues to get these?
We are going through the annual or twice annual hydrant flushing program right now, and the areas that are primarily getting hit are the areas that are in the immediate vicinity of the flushing program. When we did the fall flushing program, shortly after that, basically nearly all of the dirty water calls evaporated. And we went through the fall and the early part of the winter with very few calls. I mean, there were a few on the dead-end areas, but really not too many. Then as winter progressed and we became closer to spring, then the water calls started to increase in numbers and intensity. And I'm hoping that with this flushing program, that it will purge the system one more time and give us a bit of a respite from the dirty water calls.
And if I could have follow up, do you have a schedule that's posted? You may very well do this, but can we post the schedule, or if you don't, post the schedule?
We post the zones that we're working in. The town is broken up into 6 zones, and the zone that we're currently in is posted at this
Great.
time.
Okay.
Are there any other questions from the board?
What's the projected completion date for this schedule of?
We are just beyond the halfway point. I would expect another 4 to 5 weeks, and we should be completed with the flushing round.
So compared to the last rounds of flushing we've done, it's basically, what, a 3 or 4 week turnaround for the whole program flush?
No, it's actually about a 6 to 7 week turnaround.
Oh, is it that long? I thought
There are several hundred actual flushing sequences that we have to perform, and it consists of closing certain valves, opening other valves, and then purging the system so that we're flushing the water in one direction, hence the name, the unidirectional flushing system. And the purpose is to create high velocities in an individual pipe to get any debris and dirty water out of that particular pipe.
So are we at least past the beginning stages where we were breaking valves every week and finding the old things in the system?
We're not breaking valves, but we are still identifying issues that need to be addressed. Hydrants that don't work, gates that either don't work or just spin. We are identifying numerous issues still that need to be addressed, and we will get onto those immediately after the conclusion of this flushing program.
Unilateral, when is that starting again? The one that we did last year, the one that caused, John had said that it was gonna start again.
No, I believe John was referring to the unidirectional flushing program, but what caused the problems that we had last year was the construction project on Gore Road. And as a result of that project, we were required to take the Rawson Road water tank offline. What that did, that forced all of our reliance onto the Park Road tank, that increased the tank fluctuations, but also reversed the directions of flows in the pipes throughout the town. And reversal of directions of flows is about the worst thing that you can do to stir up dirty water. Once the tank went back online, the water calls eased up substantially.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you for coming in at the last minute.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the town administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That being the Assistant Town Administrator's report this evening. The special town meeting was held on Monday, May 11th. 19 articles were presented and acted upon. The annual town meeting was held on Monday, May 11th. 22 articles were presented, 11 articles were acted upon, 6 articles were ruled out of order by the moderator, and 5 articles were moved to the end of the warrant to be acted upon at the continuation of the adjourned annual town meeting scheduled for Monday, June 22nd. Mr. McAuliffe met with the finance team and the DPW team on Tuesday, May 12th, and Mr. McAuliffe attended a SWEC Board of Directors meeting on Thursday, May 14th. Some departmental updates and announcements. The Town Administrator Screening Committee is established pursuant to Section 7.3 of the General Bylaws. The committee is comprised of 9 individuals, 1 person designated by the Board of Selectmen, 1 person designated by the School Committee, 1 person designated by the Board of Assessors, 2 persons designated by the Finance Committee, and 4 persons designated by the Town Moderator. Once the Board of Selectmen choose their designee this evening, the Town Moderator may consider his appointments to the committee. Interested persons should forward a letter of interest to serve on the committee no later than May 20th to Mr. Thomas Ralph, Town Moderator, P.O. Box 477, Webster. The Proposition 2.5 override special election is scheduled for Monday, June 15th, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Town Hall. The last day to register to vote to be eligible to participate in the special election is Tuesday, May 26th. The office of the Town Clerk will remain open until 8 p.m. that evening. Memorial Beach. The town's beach facility will be commencing limited operations on Saturday, May 23rd. The facility will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., weekend days only through mid-June. The facility will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Memorial Day. Hydrant flushing, as Mr. Kraus just updated the board, the Water Department continues their biannual flushing operations. They've completed 3 of the 6 sectors in town, and the staff is hopeful that they can wrap up their efforts in this regard by mid-June. Again, as Mr. Kraus stated, priority is if they receive a dirty water call, they are there within 1 hour. Memorial Day, all town offices will be closed on Monday, May 25th in observance of Memorial Day. The Webster Dudley Veterans Memorial Day Parade will be held on Monday, May 25th. The parade will begin promptly at 11 a.m. upon completion of the Memorial Day honors at St. Anthony Cemetery in Webster, followed by a march to the Court of Honor for closing ceremonies. The Independence Day fireworks display is scheduled for Friday, July 3rd at Memorial Beach. The event will be funded this year with proceeds from the parking fees, which have accumulated over the last few years due to the generous donations the town received to fully fund the fireworks display in recent years, and that's thanks to both the Becker and the Fells family for doing so. There are a few action items this evening, Mr. Chairman. In your packet, you received notification from Ms. Megan Donahue, our Assistant Planner. She received a Janet Malzer Humanities Trust Grant Award in the amount of $3,150. So I would ask that the board vote to accept that grant award. Also, we received, and Courtney, I believe, forwarded to the board, a request from the chairman of the Chester C. Corbin Public Library Board of Trustees. There is a vacancy on that committee, and they'd like it to be posted as soon as possible. You also have in your packet a request from the TSKK regarding a waiver of permit fees. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions from the board?
Motion to approve the Town Administrator's report.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Just one
Any other
question.
discussion?
Pam, have you been in negotiations with John? Has he allowed you to sit in negotiations with any contracts or
No,
nothing?
no.
All right, so I'm gonna make a motion from today on that if John goes into any type of contract negotiations, that Pam should be sitting there with him. And also, we would want her to sign off on any agreement also. It's just, he's only gonna be here for what, 3 or 4 more days, right? I think.
3 days.
3 days, I think he
So I
said.
think you need to take a more active role in the town,
Okay.
starting tonight,
Mm-hmm.
so. That'd be a motion.
Second that, third that. Let's, all right, let's finish with the first one first. So to accept the, town administrator's report.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Bork?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Board.
Yes.
Take a while to get used to that.
And then now, Selectman Dalgevich's, motion.
So could I just ask for some clarification on that motion? Are we looking to just have Pam sit in if he's doing any contracts regarding Swansea? Is that what you're interested in?
No,
For Webster.
negotiations in town.
Okay,
She's not sitting in any negotiations.
okay.
So I wanna make sure that anything that's signed, she knows about it. And that she's agreeing to it because she's gonna be
Dealing with it.
here.
And Mr. Chairman, through you, if I could, so we have, the only contract left outstanding right now is the police contract. You did receive some correspondence from the union in your packet. That is the only one left outstanding right now. The others have been settled. We put them before you the past few weeks, make sure that they got done. So we did take care of that. It's just the police that's left outstanding.
So through the chair, if I could, since we're on the topic of the police contract, I'm kind of under the impression with Mr. McAuliffe's time running short with this town that we should probably be looking to post a special meeting to resolve this, if the board so chooses. And if you agree, Mrs. Administrator.
Mr. Chairman, through you, if I could, I guess respectfully, I'd ask that I just ask John where he is with the negotiations. My understanding was they're in arbitration at this point, so they're involved in a
There's legal
process.
component. Okay.
Right, so if I could just have John update me and we'll see where we are and what our options are at this point.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So a motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion?
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzl?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Duggan?
Yes.
Chairman Board?
Yes. Old business, the Town Administrator's Screening Committee. We did receive a listing of some of the appointments that have been appointed by some of the other committees, and the Board of Selectmen has one appointment as well. What is,
My thoughts were seeing the moderator has four appointments after we make an appointment, that if we appoint one of our own on that committee, and I don't know if Mr. Becker's interested. He has a background in business management and probably would be well served on the committee. If you're interested.
I'd do it, sure.
So I'd make a motion that we appoint Mr. Becker.
second.
You don't want to put the big employer on,
No, I'm good. I'm good.
you've seen a couple of resumes in your time.
But I would certainly defer to the chair if he wishes.
I'm assuming I'll be busy enough.
If you want, if you want to.
No. I am very happy to let Mr. Becker do it.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzl?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Duggan?
Yes.
Chairman Board?
Yes.
So,
Thank you for volunteering.
Yes.
You want to show up?
we'll forward the letters of interest that we have.
You're gonna learn not to be absent.
Yeah, don't ever be
Committees that
absent.
You don't want to be.
Please be absent around, in about 2
October.
months. Oh, yes, so you can be in charge of the
Pumpkin.
pumpkins.
Pumpkin inspector.
Any other old business?
Brown water, I was gonna ask about, but that was addressed. And just Pam sitting in on everything with John from this point on, so that's all I had that I was thinking.
New business. Under new business, I had asked Courtney to put on the agenda the authorization for use of town council. And the reason I did this is we've had, over the last year, some members of the board who have reached out on their own to our town council and cost the town in excess of $6,000 in fees without the consent of the entire board. So I asked Courtney to put this on the board for us to consider making a policy that the board has to consult or convene and make a decision on us spending money. This isn't our money. This is taxpayers' money. And it's, my suggestion that we look at our finances very carefully in this tough economic times, that we're asking the taxpayers to step up to. And I think it's our responsibility as a board to also be as responsible as we possibly can. So without pontificating any longer, my point is that I think that we should have a policy in place that none of us individually call and spend the town's money with town council. I'm just throwing it out there for discussion.
Through the chair, I think it's a very good idea to have one point person, you know, to be the contact for town council. So I would certainly be in favor of it.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, do you want to expand that policy to the town bylaws require that town officers, boards, and committees need approval from either the Board of Selectmen or the town administrator to go to and use town council? So do we want to put a policy together for approval by the board that includes both this Board of Selectmen acting as one, not just individually, and also to address how the boards and committees or town officers actually request the use of council also?
Sure.
Incorporate that in it.
I would think that that would make sense. I mean, we don't have the right to be spending the taxpayers' money willy-nilly just because I have a question, and then we get a bill for, you know, $1,000 because I wanted the question answered. I think we work very well together as a board. We should be able to work in using the people's money if we're going to do this. So I would venture to say yes on that.
One,
If the committee, if the board agrees.
one added step on that, I would contact Copeland and Page and give them our guidelines and tell them if they talk to any person that's not authorized, they will not be paid.
Right, okay.
So,
As part of the policy.
correct.
Is this a policy you'd like us to draft for your review and
Yes, I
Okay.
think, in my opinion, I think that would be a good idea.
Do-
I just don't want people to be spending the taxpayers' money willy-nilly.
Do we have any data to support any higher legal costs from this past fiscal year versus previous years to see if there was an uptick because of extra communication, or is there, I like to see that there's reasons behind policy, not just policy to have policy, so I was just looking for any data to support reasons that people were calling and chatting with town council, I suppose. I don't know if we could receive those records.
Correct, because the town also budgets $100,000 for legal retainer.
Right, so my thought is,
And quite honestly, I understand that we budget, but it doesn't mean we have to spend it.
no, absolutely.
If it's not for a logical reason that the entire board agrees on, we have to vote on when we're gonna have meetings, we have to vote on when we're not gonna have meetings. I mean, why would we not wanna vote on or have a policy in place of not spending the town's money with legal counsel? I'm not arguing, I'm just saying.
Oh, I understand that. It would make sense to have a consistent policy for the town.
And even if there haven't been problems, I think, you know, good corporate governance, you know, would have a point person. For instance, we have general counsel is the only one that can, you know, talk to an attorney.
Sure.
You know, always one person, and through that is the chair.
And I didn't bring this up because I'm the chair who was on here before, so, I just think it makes logical sense for the taxpayers to know what we're spending if we're going to do that.
I believe if you research, that problem is already on the books.
Absolutely.
So.
And through the chair, just one more question with regards to Mrs. Regis and the bylaws. But there are specific people, appointed offices, that can go to an attorney, the town's attorney, without the selectmen's authority?
Well, the town administrator appoints town council. And then any town officer, board or committee, needs approval by either the Board of Selectmen or the town administrator in order to contact council.
Okay.
And that's why I'm saying, if there's a policy in place whereby a department head knows what the hierarchy is in order for them to get approval and not just pick up the phone and be able to contact council, and there is, it's a fiscal responsibility that we need to make sure that we're not overspending our budget.
So I guess as part of the policy, you'd look to have the town administrator then speak with the chairman
Right.
to control that. Okay.
Mhm. And I guess, just expanding on that, I've talked to Courtney, and we are going to be scheduling a meeting for the board with council, both our councils actually, to come in and do a legal update for you. I don't know when the last time you had that was, but in my experience, it's about quarterly. So we are going to have them come in, and hopefully at that point, we will have something for you to review at your next meeting. And then once you've adopted it, we'll then share it with council so that they're aware.
I think the last time they were in was about a year ago.
It's a
wasn't
long
it?
time.
Yeah,
it was a long time.
it was about a year ago that they were in. Because I know that there was a point where we were not spending any money on, our legal fees. Our legal fees were very, very low.
Mr.
So-
McAuliffe was always very, very good with the legal budget. The legal budget used to be $125,000, it's now $100,000, and we usually have excess funding available.
Right.
So.
Okay. So, will you look into that? Do we need a motion for you to look into that in
No,
regards
if
to
you-
generating a policy?
If that's what you wish, we'll have something ready for your review for the next meeting.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Downtown Liquor License Committee Board of Selectmen's appointee.
I don't think we just need to take a vote to reappoint the chairman, as, because Mr. Miller served as the appointee. So,
Is that in the form of a motion?
yeah.
Second.
There's a big yellow bus. The motion's been made and seconded. Is there anyone else that wants to do it?
I'd make a motion to appoint Selectman Starzak.
And Starzak like to do this?
Makes no difference to me.
Would Selectman Bork like to, would Chairman Bork like to do this?
You're more than welcome to.
I think they try to hold their meetings during the day. I don't know if one's more available during the day.
Somebody
That's
works
what I
across
thought
the
was
street,
right.
where somebody else works on Oxford.
Oh, there, if it's,
When do they work during the day? When do they meet during the day? Sorry.
Carol usually meets around 2 o'clock.
So that leaves me, right?
Long lunch break, right?
Yeah, because you have it's usually hard.
It's not
for you
easy
to
for us
get out.
blue collar guys,
Exactly.
8 to 5 every day.
Just because I wear a white shirt doesn't mean nothing, okay. All right, so, Courtney, call the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Julian?
yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Bork?
Yes. Next item is Mama Dolce's outdoor seating request. Nancy, come on down.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna abstain
Okay.
on this topic.
Duly noted.
First of all, Nancy Zecco, owner-operator of Mama Dolce's Cafe. And I guess there's three parts to this that I'm asking for. One, I'll give you the three on top. First one is outside seating in front of the cafe. Two is side seating on the side of the cafe on only Saturday and Sunday when there's no vehicles going in and out of the parking lot. And then the third is the Italian festival that I'd like to hold I think probably in August. So the first one is I'd like to have a couple of small tables outside of the cafe that have 2 chairs each. So there'll probably be 6 chairs and 3 small round tables, 28-inch tables. And then outside on the side, I'd like to have just a few tables on the side there on Saturday and Sunday so people can just convene and eat and enjoy their day. And I'd like to table the Italian festival so I can get some plans together and get the vendors who would like to participate in it and put a whole plan together for you to review. But I'd like to, put the bug in your ear now to close off the street. I think it'd be great for the town. And my goal is to get all the people from around, all the other restaurants around and all the other people that work in this town and have businesses, just pool all together so we can network together and have a good time.
Did I see in our packet that we also have a request? Was it in this packet or was it in the previous packet for outside seating for the hot dog place? So would you be
Yeah. That was previously.
It was
approved.
previously, so would you be in front of her shop, or is that what you're saying, come around? You said around the corner.
Yeah, around at my building. So
Right.
my
So
building's
it's
right
front
here to
and
the
side.
side,
So it'd be front where your building is and the side?
to the right. So my you're looking at my building, okay? So around the corner where my dumpster is, the dumpsters.
Oh, you're talking about that side, not in front of the hot dog place?
No, that's not Mama Dolce's. Mama Dolce's is on the
No,
other
no,
end.
no, no, I thought you were wanted
Oh,
to
no.
wrap it around type thing, going up the street. I didn't know you were going around the side, okay. I didn't know you were looking at the building going to your left, not looking at the building
No.
going to your right.
I was thinking you're gonna take over the entire site.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, there's gotta be a fight.
Mama Dolce's corner, freaking Oli's.
Any questions
there.
from the board?
So here's your building, chairs up front, like during the week,
Yep.
but you said they're on
They
the
come in
side-
at night, though.
Okay,
I
so,
pull
but
everything.
you said like on the side when there's less traffic, that's the part I don't get.
Okay, so, and that's why I wanted to make these things
Yeah.
three
'Cause,
different.
like, people dining in traffic, that's where I wanna make sure we know what we're talking about.
Exactly. So, on Saturday and Sunday, there's nothing going on there. There's no parking with Commerce or Mafree, and there's nobody there. So this is the front of my building, okay? And this is the side of my building right here. And this is where you can go in and out. Nobody's here on Saturday and Sunday, so I wanted to just put a few tables here and just on the
So
weekends.
is that is that a parking lot entrance that you're talking about?
I don't know what that is. It's just,
I would just wanna
it's
see
not
exactly-
it's not a parking lot.
No,
There's no
sidewalk.
stripes there or anything for parking. It's just empty.
Yeah, during,
It's not where they park.
during the
I
week,
just
they do
can't
use
know.
it as an entrance egress area for the back side of the buildings.
Yeah.
I just, because if it's actual like asphalt, I just don't know how that would pend with, like the safety committee or anybody if they ever had to get some type of vehicle up there, just,
There's all entrances
it's-
so they can get in.
okay. Yeah,
Oh,
I-
it's
I'm
not
ju-
a
I'm
problem.
just not familiar enough with it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
the-
I've only seen the
The
storefront.
entrance is really wide
Yeah.
there, too.
Okay.
It's huge.
You could take the tower truck and you can make that swing
Mhm.
to that. And that's in the back of, you have the back of Dan Marco's place too, right? And
Yeah.
then you have
Yep.
your building,
Yes,
and then you have Mafree on the other side. So
Yes.
that's a big swing, so, yeah.
So it wouldn't be encroaching on the entryway to that parking lot, would it be?
no. I mean, I'm not looking to put 100 tables there. I'm just looking to put maybe 2 tables there on the side, that's all, and an umbrella.
And then for the Italian festival, which you want a table for right now, are we to assume that's gonna be similar to like the Latino festival that's been held, on that kind of idea, or?
Yes, but it's going to be more like the North End in Boston, where they have all the vendors lining up and the streets closed, so
But
I
you're
want to
looking
make
to
it,
like host as a community event, from what I'm getting?
Yes.
Okay, just so I have an idea.
absolutely. I think the Latin Festival went over fantastic. They did a great job. And I think it'd be nice to continue that and, you know, bring the Italian tradition in and have a nice Italian festival.
Any
Yeah,
other
just looking here on the map, so just so I can see through Google Earth. I think it's a great idea, just, you know, adds charm. Whenever we go to Putnam, especially on a beautiful evening, or during the day, it really adds charm, so.
Mhm.
I'm just trying to make, you know, I know you all want to make the downtown a better place. That's why I chose to put my building there. I mean, I spent a lot of money to put in the Mama Dolce's, and I really wanted it to be a success. It's very different, and I just think adding the seating in and around would just be an asset to both the community and myself.
Any other questions from the board?
And the property that you are seeking on the side of the building to put is property owned by you at the building, correct? I just want to make,
No, I
Make
don't
sure it's
think I,
not-
I don't think I own that.
Okay.
I don't think the landlord owns that. I think the town owns that, doesn't? I don't know who owns it. I don't know. I think the
I
town
can't
owns
tell from
that.
here.
I think it's town's property.
okay.
But as you're looking at Mama Dolce's, it would be, you're talking to the left.
So if you're looking at, and if I'm the building right here, to my right right here.
Mhm.
So it's just around the corner.
So it's to the left of the door and to your right of the door.
Just so, Mr. Chairman.
Is that right?
you can-
On the door, to the right.
Oh, okay, I see right there.
that's actually like an alleyway, right? That kind of goes back.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
So
doesn't,
I would think that's just a small, oh goodness, what did I just do? Oh boy, it's like upside down now.
You
We're
just
back
sent,
up,
you sent an email.
What did you just send
everyone
to my
at
wife?
That almost kind of looks like a continuation of municipal park, if I could guess, just a very little sliver, right? From.
it doesn't look like it's parking. It looks like
No,
it's
it
just,
doesn't look like it's parking.
Dumpster access from the looks of it.
You gotta put a Mama Dolce's logo around the dumpster so it looks a little prettier.
Here, we'll give something back on my phone back.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? So you wanna put off, because you're gonna come back to us about the
I'd like to have a
festival.
plan in place for you,
Okay.
so you know exactly what's going on.
Okay.
So it was just a thought that's in my head. I wanted to let you know that's something that I want to do, so at least you're aware of it. And then I'll come up with a nice plan, exactly what I'd like to do, so then you can make a decision.
yeah, I think the only question I think would come up is if other restaurants want to do it, you have to make sure that we don't impede the flow of traffic for the pedestrians. That's all, especially, restaurants that might be on Main Street themselves, so.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking of, you know what Davis Street is when you first come in where the trains are? Just a small section from there to maybe at the beginning of where the stop sign is. When you go around, here's Davis Street, you go in, the trains are right here, and then you go around the corner and there's a stop sign right here. I'm thinking just maybe that small area right there, that's all.
I'm sorry, I wasn't referring to the Italian. I
Oh.
was referring to the regular placement of 3 tables or so,
Oh,
Right.
okay.
and on the
I'm sorry.
weekdays, and then the tables on a Saturday.
I'll entertain a motion.
I actually have one last question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I know that we had approved this for Joanne's Hot Dog Express, and is that the only other business that we have done that for, if anyone can recall?
I think
think
at
in
one
recent
point
time it is
they
for right now.
approved Deb's on East Main Street to have a couple of tables out
Mhm.
front. We've never done that, but
Right,
know
yeah,
that.
just, my only concern is, I like it, I obviously want to approve for Ms. Secco, but I'm just wondering, are we still gonna, remain in compliance for any ADA issues? We're gonna have dining on sidewalks? Because my thought would be, if you have all these little ADA compliant skirts, if you have someone on a wheelchair, I just wanna make sure the town isn't violating any, federal laws as such. It might be something we should just look into. So, not to.
Didn't you
pursue-
just do Joanne's Hot Dogs
I
then?
know, and I'm starting to think that.
Okay, so
we
then
may have-
if that's a
No, I-
problem, then you're gonna have to retract that.
Exactly, yeah, and I'm just making sure that we cover our steps, because I want everything to be uniform for every business, but I'm also thinking now, thinking in my head, your little sidewalks that I just recalled, like, well, there are these certain ADA compliances we need to have. Just for the town's culpability, make sure that we're in compliance. If we are,
We can check on that.
yeah.
Yeah, I would
Because
think,
I'm thinking, if we're, like, based on the point that you just brought up, pedestrian access, that we're starting to start a trend, which, if it doesn't fly, then it shouldn't fly for anybody. If it does fly, it should fly for everybody.
Didn't you just approve one, though? You should have thought that, you should have thought about that before.
Absolutely, yeah, but questions get raised sometimes.
no, I think I would make a motion to approve 3 or so tables on weekdays, and then several other tables on weekends, Saturday and Sunday, but just with the stipulation that it doesn't impede access to either, any handicap entrance to a sidewalk or pedestrian traffic.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, and you'll just get back to us if there's
Yes.
any issues or
Mhm.
whatever. And,
Because I would never want to impede
Right.
anybody who's handicapped.
right, no, we certainly understand that. And we're sure that no other restaurant that has outside seating or anything of that nature would want that either, so.
Okay.
Courtney, for the board?
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starsky?
Yes.
Selectman Jolden?
Yes.
Chairman Ford?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Webster Fish and Game Outdoor Entertainment License Request on June 13th. Webster Fish and Game is planning their 100th year anniversary party for June 13th. And they would like food and music outside. It's open to the public. They're looking for a one-day license.
They're looking for an entertainment license. Their alcohol license covers them for the outdoor area, so they're looking for an entertainment license. And I know last time we granted the entertainment license, it was, you
contact with any hours of this event they're looking to do?
That is the only, yeah.
I mean,
I'll make a motion to approve it as long as the music stops at the hour.
yeah, I keep it consistent, like St. Joe's Polish Festival, we give them till 11 PM, no later than 11 PM.
Is that a second? Or
Yes,
did you-
second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Are they required to pay for that license, or is
They
it
have to
just
pay
me?
$25.
Okay. A motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, call the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dolben?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Board?
Yes. Next item is Sandra Shablin, appointment to the Council on Aging.
I'd make a motion to approve the appointment.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, poll the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dolben?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Board?
Yes. Next item is the St. Joseph Festival, one-day liquor license request, June 19th, 20th, and 21st. And we all have a copy of the letter from the Monsignor, email from the Monsignor.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, poll the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dolben?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Board?
Yes. This is the whole one here.
That's the town warrant, right. That's for the special election for the override.
All right, now, the next item on the agenda is approval of this special election warrant. Town of Warren of Commonwealth of Massachusetts to either of the constables of the town of Webster in the county aforesaid. Greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby required and directed to notify, warn the inhabitants of the town of Webster aforesaid who are qualified to vote in elections and town affairs to meet the auditorium, so-called municipal building, 350 Main Street in said Webster on Monday, the 15th day of June, at 7 o'clock in the forenoon, in there to act on the following articles, to wit. Shall the town of Webster be allowed to assess an additional $2 million in real estate and personal property taxes for the purposes of funding the operating budgets of the town and the public schools for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2016? Shall the 15, I beg your pardon. Shall the town of Webster be allowed to assess an additional $1 million in real estate and personal property taxes for the purposes of funding and operating budgets of the town and the public schools for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2015? All polls close at 8 o'clock in the evening, and you are directed to serve this warrant by publishing an attested copy, therefore, in a newspaper published within the town of Webster at least 7 days preceding the election. Hereof fail not and make due return of the doings thereon to the clerk at the time and place of holding said meeting, given under the hands this 18th day of May in the year 2015. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, call the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Dolben?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Board?
Yes. Any other new business?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, Mr. Chairman, I think at this time we should probably vote on the Janet Mauser Humanities Trust Grant Award that the administrator had mentioned in her report. So with that being said, I would make a motion to approve the Janet Mauser Humanities Trust Grant Award in the amount of $3,150. money of which will go to the restoration of Richard Clark's 1855 map of the town of Webster.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any other discussion?
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Jolden?
Yes.
Selectman Degevich?
Yes.
Chairman Bork?
Yes. Any other new
And
business?
Just a question on that. Do we send the thank you note, or does the recipient receiving the grant send a thank you note?
I can double check with me.
I
Just
think,
wanna make sure
I
that-
think we usually send a thank you note anyways, too.
Two things. One, the library trustee, we need to post that before I forget. So I'll make a motion to post the open position for library trustee.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, poll the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Jolden?
Yes.
Selectman Degevich?
Yes.
Chairman Bork?
Yes.
And the other issue is, Pam, can you check the lake levels? They're down. It appears to be quite a bit.
Okay.
So maybe you can talk to the group that controls the level of the lake and see if there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I'd like to have them come before us, I think would be better. I think you're onto something. If I recall, wasn't it, we had appointed, was it our appointment?
No, Michael Bryan, it's his property. He
Oh,
appointed
that's-
a
that's
conservation,
right.
conservation
Yeah, for
group
some reason,
to oversee it. So maybe we can find out if they can raise the levels here. Because
Okay.
it is getting kind of low.
Okay.
my understanding is they're supposed to keep it at a required minimum, and there's some questions to be asked.
I'll look into it.
Any other new business?
We have the TSKK request.
And Mr. Chairman, it looks like we have a request from the TSKK interested in us waiving a fee, which would be required for us to open up the street for them to connect to their new sprinkler system.
What is the, pardon me, what is the cost of that fee?
I don't know.
I think it
This
was
is the
around
actual-
$3,000.
Right, this is the actual sprinkler construction permit fee issued by the fire department, from what I understand.
Have we ever waived that before for nonprofits, or can you check?
We'll
and
check
let us
on
know?
that. Mm-hmm.
Do we want to put this on the next agenda?
Yeah, I think it should go on the next agenda.
Buddy, if you just add it to the next agenda. Any other new business?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I did have one item. I'm not sure how many people read in the Telegram Gazette that Webster was listed as the number 23 town in the state with regards to heroin issues. I think it would be incumbent on the selectmen, and I'd ask our board to endorse a committee to be formed with representatives from Harrington Hospital, Hubbard Harrington Hospital, the police department, the sheriff's department, the Webster EMS, along with the Dudley District Court. I think I've got them all there, and of course, a representative from the board. And I think endorsing that kind of committee and having that committee get together and come up with some thoughts, ideas to help address this issue would be something that's very important for our town. And I would certainly be willing to, be on the committee and, welcome another selectman as well.
I personally think it's a great idea. Have you had any conversations with the chief in regards to this?
I've not had conversations with the chief. I have spoken with the chief of the EMS and the president of Harrington. And I'd like to get, in asking for this, like to get permission to act on behalf of the board to convene a meeting with all of these parties. So,
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion?
I just think it's a great idea. I know they tried forming something a while ago locally. But I think what they need to start addressing is these doctors giving these prescriptions.
Agreed.
And that's the start of this whole mess. It appears that for every ache of pain, they'll get a prescription for 90 pills. And you go to Rite Aid or any drugstore, and that's the biggest place to get any type of
So, and I think that's why it's important to bring the hospital, the doctors in through having hospital representation on it. I agree.
While we're on the topic of opiate addiction, I think Selectman Degevich is right on about how that's the forbidden fruit that starts this whole cycle. Do we know if maybe there are other communities where, I mean, maybe they would do it through a bylaw, but, you know, if you have a doctor prescribing some type of narcotic that has the OxyContin, the Vicodin, I guess maybe it would probably have to be at the state level, but it seems like there should almost be a law that would have to be in a locked container almost. Because putting it in the medicine cabinet, those days are gone, I think. So maybe we should also look to petition our state officials to try to draft up a type of state legislative action, realistically, to try to come up with a law to actually put those dangerous products in a locked container.
Selectman Starzak, I can speak somewhat to the knowledge of how the certain narcotics are controlled. They are regulated by the DEA. Medical offices and pharmacies are audited by the DEA as well for storage of their prescription pills. They're required to keep specific time logs of how much was dispensed and the dosages.
So I think where I'm going with this is for the home user. I know, you know, there are laws that you have to lock up handguns and ammunition. I don't really see how, you know, pills are really any different, especially if you have children at home that have such easy access. So I think, first of all, if we could, Mr. Chairman, let's vote to Mr. Becker's wonderful idea for a committee, and then maybe I'll make the form of a motion that we send a letter to our state representative and state senator requesting them to address possibly creating a bill for the legislature to require people prescribed a certain class of narcotics, have them be in locked containers.
Great idea. And a second.
Courtney, pull the board on Selectman Becker's motion.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Degevich?
Yes.
Chairman Board?
Yes. And now you can pull the board on Selectman Starzak's motion.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Abstain.
Selectman Degevich?
Yes.
Chairman Board?
Yes. Any other new business? Informational mail.
Motion to adjourn.
Before we do that, under other business unknown at time of posting. To my dismay, when I came in this evening, the Webster Fire Department donated this kind of lopsided tree for our Christmas tree lighting event that we have every year. It's gone.
It is gone. Yes.
What's happening?
The tree was removed. Everyone, of course, sees the beautiful landscaping job that has been done over here with the Church Street reconstruction. We have a beautiful area there now, and there are plans to create put a hole in the earth and put a cylinder there so that each year we can have a beautiful large tree specifically for that purpose, and make that area really something that Webster can be proud of for our tree lighting. Not to say that that tree wasn't something to be proud of, but just where it was located, the tree was dead. It just, it was crooked. It had seen its best days. So, yeah, it was taken down.
Did anyone notify anyone from the fire department?
Correct. I spoke with the fire chief directly.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
Mr. Mullins?
Yes, hi, Ray Mullins from Webster. I'm just wondering what you were just proposing. Are you proposing a cut tree every year for the lighting ceremony? Or are you proposing an actually planted tree?
I'm proposing,
The one that was planted, as the intentions of it was to be perpetuity, to be a tree, you know, it's a memorial.
Mr. Mullins, would you come forward, because we can't hear you without the microphone? Well, our IT guy can't hear you, and we'd appreciate if the audience could hear you as well for the record.
Sure.
Please.
No. My question was, is the missing tree, is it going to be replaced by a tree that's going to be bought each year and put in the stand for Christmas tree lighting? Or is it going to be replaced by a permanent tree as the original intentions of this tree was for, as a memorial to Miss Ruda? You know, it's something that was meant to be forever.
Well, this is the first I'm hearing of that particular, referring to that tree as a memorial to Ms. Ruder, because I guarantee you that everyone in this building also, if that were the case, would not have removed that tree if
Well, I
that
can
was its
understand.
purpose. Today was the first I heard that. It also was the first that I heard it referred to as a memorial to fallen firefighters here in town. And as I said, I spoke with the chief directly, and he agreed that it would be fine to take it down. And I'm sure that the chief would have also had, stopped that if that were the case. That was the first I heard of this. My understanding is that was a comment made on Facebook or a posting made on Facebook. That's the
And-
first that I was aware of that.
Is the replacement to be permanent, a tree grown in the ground, or is it something to be cut every year and decorated?
No, it would be my recommendation to have it cut and decorated each year.
So it wouldn't be a permanent tree? It wouldn't be there year-round?
No,
It would just come and go as...
no. That won't be my decision, Mr. Mullins, but my recommendation would be to place a cylinder in the ground that we can then cut down a tree, have a tree donated or cut down a tree each year and have it put there specific for the tree lighting ceremony and for the residents to enjoy during the holiday season.
I honestly think that defeats the purpose of the original planting of the tree, and I think that should be taken into consideration. And possibly a permanent tree put in that place.
And as I said, if that was the case, that tree was for that purpose, that would never have been my intention to remove that tree permanently.
Well, I don't think it was the intentions of the people who planted it a year or two ago to all of a sudden see it disappear and never return. It's been taken out, and you're doing nothing to replace it except by cutting a dead tree to plan up for your activities at Christmas lighting.
So I have an idea that I think you're both right. And I think in the spirit of anybody in safety services, whether it's fire, EMS, police, they go above and beyond for all of us, and I think they should have a year-round commendation just as our fallen veterans do in the Court of Honor. I think maybe the town should look into see if we have any area on our grounds here where maybe we could plant 3 perpetual trees that could be decorated every season in their respective colors to represent all of those members who do volunteer and work for in those services, if the board so chooses.
It's, Mr. Mullins, thank you.
Thank you.
It's my, it's my understanding that it was the Brotherhood of Firefighters that paid for this, that installed this tree, and it was in some way, shape, or form in memory of our dispatcher Ruder, who was gone. Now, with that said, I think that the chief, with all due respect, is not part of the Brotherhood, and not saying that he would sway one way or the other, but making a management decision that the tree is no longer alive to take the tree. I understand that. But with that said, we might find tomorrow there be some noses out of joint due to us or the town taking this tree out of there. And I think that we need to really, I'm not trying to make a mountain out of a molehill here, but this is, these guys and gals put their life on the line day in and day out and did this work on our behalf. We need to figure this out and come up with in my opinion, a plan of action to make sure that we do the right thing.
And that's completely understood. Courtney, the office didn't get a phone call, did we, regarding the tree? So I'll contact whoever is the president of the Brotherhood and get right down to it. I mean, if that's the case, and if that was in memorial, then none of us either would want to, you know, we worked with Karen also, and we wouldn't want to see that.
To Mr. Bork,
Yeah.
Chairman Bork's point, I did reach out to the individual who was the original poster through the Brotherhood of Firefighters. I did speak to him this evening in person, and their concern was just that the tree would not be replaced in some fashion. And I did inform them that the town would be replacing a tree in one way or another for the tree lighting ceremony, which was their main concern.
So I'd like to make a motion that we look into planting 3 trees. I'm not sure where we have on the town grounds here, but I think that we should, not forget the policemen, not forget the EMS either. They're all very important. This way their families can decorate those trees. We can light them in their respective colors in remembrance. So I'd like to make that in the form of motion that we provide 3 perpetual trees.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, poll the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Bork?
Yes. Glenn, did you have anything?
I was just here to hear, but thank you very much for asking.
Okay, no
There
problem.
was some solar issues, but they'll come up in the future.
Okay, good.
Solar voltaic issues.
Okay,
But thank you.
great, thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure listening.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
So, second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Starzak?
Yes.
Selectman Jolda?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Bork?
Yes, thank you very much.
Glenn, I just got your message, move out.